Ladies and gentlemen, our topic today is force yourself to be patient and stay focused. Now, doesn't that sound like a challenge? It sure does, because you see, in this fast-paced world we live in, patience and focus have become rare commodities. Everybody wants everything now. Instant gratification is the name of the game. But let me tell you something, success doesn't work that way. Success is not a microwave meal. It's a slow-cooked feast. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. Have you ever watched a master craftsman at work? A woodworker, perhaps, or a sculptor? They don't rush. They don't get distracted. They're patient, and they stay focused. And what's the result? A masterpiece. That's what we're after in our lives, to create masterpieces. But here's the thing. Patience and focus don't come naturally to most of us. We have to force ourselves. We have to cultivate these qualities. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How to force yourself to be patient and stay focused. Let's start with patience. Patience is not about sitting around and waiting for good things to happen. No, that's not patience. That's laziness. Patience is about persevering, about keeping at it even when you don't see immediate results. It's about understanding that good things take time. You know, I often tell the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. For the first 4 years after you plant the seed, you see nothing. Nothing! You water it, you fertilize it, but nothing happens. No shoots, no leaves, nothing. But in the 5th year, something amazing happens. The tree starts to grow, and it grows fast. In just 6 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now, here's the question. Did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. For those first 4 years, the tree was growing underground, developing a root system strong enough to support its rapid growth. That's what patience is all about. It's about doing the work day in and day out, even when you don't see immediate results. It's about having faith in the process, trusting that your efforts will pay off in the long run. But patience alone is not enough. You also need focus. Focus is about directing your energy, your time, your resources towards your goals. It's about saying no to distractions, about keeping your eyes on the prize. You see, in today's world, we're bombarded with distractions. Social media, emails, text messages, they're all vying for our attention. And if we're not careful, these distractions can derail us from our goals. That's why we need to force ourselves to stay focused. Now, when I say force yourself, I mean it. Patience and focus don't just happen. They're not traits you're born with. They're skills you develop, habits you cultivate. And like any skill or habit, they require practice and discipline. So how do we do this? How do we force ourselves to be patient and stay focused? Well, let me share with you a few strategies that have worked for me and for many successful people I know. First, set clear goals. You can't stay focused if you don't know what you're focusing on. Your goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We call these SMART goals. Write them down. Look at them every day. Let them guide your actions and decisions. Second, break your big goals down into smaller, manageable tasks. This is crucial for both patience and focus. When you have a big goal, it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to lose patience when you don't see immediate progress. But when you break that big goal down into smaller tasks, you give yourself small wins along the way. These small wins keep you motivated, they keep you patient, and they keep you focused. Third, create a routine and stick to it. Routine is the foundation of discipline, and discipline is essential for patience and focus. Set specific times for specific tasks. Have a morning routine, a work routine, an evening routine. When you have a routine, you don't have to rely on willpower or motivation. You just do what needs to be done, day in and day out. Fourth, eliminate distractions. This is crucial for maintaining focus. Turn off notifications on your phone. Clean up your workspace. If you need to, use apps that block distracting websites. Create an environment that supports your focus, not one that undermines it. Fifth, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, about paying attention to what you're doing right now. It's a powerful tool for developing both patience and focus. You can start with just a few minutes of mindfulness meditation each day. Trust me, it makes a difference. 6, celebrate your progress. This is important for maintaining patience. When you're working towards a big goal, it's easy to get discouraged if you only focus on how far you still have to go. Instead, take time to acknowledge how far you've come. Celebrate your small wins. This will help you stay patient and motivated for the long haul. Now, let me tell you something. These strategies aren't easy. They require effort. They require discipline. But here's the thing. Anything worth having in life requires effort and discipline. Success isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be successful. You see, success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently. It's about the habits you develop, the disciplines you maintain. And patience and focus are 2 of the most important disciplines you can develop. Let me share with you a little secret. The most successful people I know, they're not necessarily the most talented. They're not necessarily the smartest. But you know what they are? They're the most patient and the most focused. They're the ones who keep at it, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. They're the ones who don't get distracted by short-term pleasures or temporary setbacks. They keep their eyes on the prize, and they keep moving forward. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Jim. You might say, this all sounds great, but it's easier said than done. And you're right. It is easier said than done. But let me ask you this. What's the alternative? Impatience? Lack of focus? Where does that lead? Nowhere good, I can tell you that. You see, impatience leads to frustration. It leads to giving up too soon. It leads to missed opportunities. And lack of focus, well, that leads to wasted time, wasted energy, wasted potential. Is that what you want for your life? I don't think so. So yes, forcing yourself to be patient and stay focused is hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it because it's the path to success. It's the path to achieving your goals, to realizing your dreams, to becoming the person you were meant to be. Now, let's talk about why patience and focus are so important in today's world. We live in a time of instant gratification. We've got fast food, fast fashion, fast everything. We're used to getting what we want when we want it. And while that might be convenient, it's not conducive to long-term success. You see, anything worthwhile in life takes time. Building a successful business takes time. Developing meaningful relationships takes time. Mastering a skill takes time. And during that time, you need to stay patient and focused. Think about it this way. Success is like growing a garden. You don't plant a seed one day and expect to have a full-grown plant the next day. No, you plant the seed, you water it, you nurture it, and for a while, nothing seems to happen. But under the surface, things are happening. Roots are growing. And if you stay patient, if you stay focused on taking care of that plant day after day, eventually you'll see results. Eventually you'll have a beautiful garden. But here's the catch. If you're not patient, if you're not focused, you might give up too soon. You might stop watering the plant because you don't see immediate results. You might get distracted and forget about the plant altogether. And then, no matter how much potential that seed had, it will never grow into the plant. That's why patience and focus are so crucial. They're what allow you to stick with something long enough to see results. They're what allow you to turn potential into reality. Now, let's talk about how patience and focus work together. You see, they're 2 sides of the same coin. Patience allows you to persist in the face of challenges and setbacks. Focus allows you to direct your energy effectively towards your goals. Together, they create a powerful force for success. Think about it this way. Patience without focus is just waiting around. You might be patient, but if you're not focused on your goals, you're not making progress. On the other hand, focus without patience can lead to burnout. You might be working hard, but if you're not patient enough to see things through, you might give up just before your breakthrough. That's why we need both. We need the patience to persist, and we need the focus to make sure our persistence is directed towards our goals. Now, I want to share with you a personal story about the power of patience and focus. When I was starting out in my career, I had big dreams. I wanted to be a successful speaker, to write books, to impact lives. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. For years, I spoke to small groups, sometimes just a handful of people. I wrote and wrote, but my early books didn't sell well. But you know what? I stayed patient. I stayed focused. I kept honing my craft, kept working on my message. I didn't let the lack of immediate success discourage me. I knew that if I kept at it, if I kept improving, eventually things would turn around. And you know what? They did. But it took time. It took years of patience and focus. And I'll tell you this, if I hadn't forced myself to be patient, if I hadn't forced myself to stay focused, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today. That's the power of patience and focus. They allow you to turn your potential into reality. They allow you to overcome obstacles, to persist in the face of challenges, to achieve things that others might think are impossible. Now let's talk about some practical ways to develop patience and focus. One of the best ways is to practice delayed gratification. In our world of instant everything, delayed gratification has become a lost art. But it's a crucial skill for success. Here's a simple exercise you can try. Next time you want to buy something that's not a necessity, wait. Wait for a week or a month. See if you still want it after that time. This simple practice can help you develop patience and self-control. Another way to develop patience and focus is through goal setting. But not just any goal setting. I'm talking about setting long-term goals. Goals that will take years to achieve. When you have a long-term goal, something that you're truly passionate about, it becomes easier to be patient. It becomes easier to stay focused. You see, when you have a big goal, a goal that excites you, that inspires you, you're more willing to put in the work day after day, even when you don't see immediate results. You're more willing to say no to distractions, to stay focused on what really matters. Now, I want to address something important here. Some of you might be thinking, but Jim, what if I set a long-term goal and then things change? What if I'm no longer interested in that goal after a few years? That's a great question, and here's my answer. It's okay for your goals to change. In fact, they should change as you grow and evolve. The point is not to set a goal and stick to it no matter what. The point is to have a direction, to have something you're working towards. As you make progress, as you learn and grow, your goals might shift. And that's okay. What's important is that you stay patient and focused on your current goal while remaining open to new possibilities. Let's talk about another important aspect of patience and focus, the ability to delay gratification. This is a crucial skill, and it's one that many people struggle with in our instant gratification society. You see, success often requires us to forgo immediate pleasures for long-term gains. It requires us to put in the work now even when we don't see immediate results, because we know that the payoff will come later. This is where patience comes in. Patience allows us to delay gratification. It allows us to say no to the immediate pleasure for the sake of our long-term goals. And focus. Focus keeps us oriented towards those long-term goals, reminding us why we're making these sacrifices in the first place. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're trying to start a business. In the early days, you might have to work long hours for little pay. You might have to forgo vacations, nights out with friends, maybe even a steady paycheck. That's not easy. It requires patience. It requires the ability to delay gratification. But here's the thing. If you can do that, if you can be patient enough to delay gratification, if you can stay focused on your long-term goal of building a successful business, eventually it will pay off. Eventually, you'll reap the rewards of your patience and focus. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Jim, you might say, that sounds great, but how do I know if my patience will pay off? How do I know if I'm focused on the right things? Those are great questions, and they bring us to another important point: the need for regular reflection and adjustment. You see, patience and focus are not about blindly persisting in a particular direction. They're about persisting intelligently. That means regularly taking stock of where you are, where you're going, and whether your current actions are aligned with your long-term goals. It means being willing to adjust your course if necessary, while still maintaining your overall direction. This is where many people go wrong. They either give up too soon, abandoning their goals at the first sign of difficulty, or they persist stubbornly in a direction that's clearly not working. True patience, true focus requires a balance between persistence and flexibility. So how do we strike this balance? How do we know when to persist and when to adjust? Well, it starts with clear goals and regular self-reflection. Set aside time each week, each month, and each year to review your progress. Ask yourself, am I moving closer to my goals? Are my actions aligned with my long-term vision? What's working well? What needs to change? This regular reflection allows you to stay patient and focused while also ensuring that you're moving in the right direction. It allows you to make course corrections when necessary without losing sight of your ultimate destination. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of patience and focus: the ability to handle setbacks and failures. Because let me tell you something, on the road to success, you will face setbacks, you will experience failure. That's not a maybe, that's a certainty. And this is where many people falter. They start out with great enthusiasm, full of patience and focus, but then they hit a roadblock. They experience a failure. And suddenly, their patience wears thin. Their focus wavers. They start to doubt themselves, to question their goals. But here's the thing: setbacks and failures are not the end of the road. They're part of the journey. In fact, they're often the most valuable part of the journey because they're where the real learning happens. Think about it this way. Success is not a straight line. It's more like a winding road with ups and downs, twists and turns. And each of those twists and turns, each of those setbacks and failures is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become better. That's why patience and focus are so crucial. Patience allows you to weather the storms, to keep going even when things get tough. Focus keeps you oriented towards your ultimate goal, even when the path gets rocky. So how do we develop this ability to handle setbacks and failures? How do we maintain our patience and focus in the face of adversity? Well, it starts with mindset. It starts with how you view failures and setbacks. Instead of seeing failures as endpoints, see them as stepping stones. Instead of seeing setbacks as reasons to give up, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. This shift in perspective can make all the difference. Let me share with you a powerful technique that can help with this. It's called reframing. When you face a setback or a failure, instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying I failed, say I found a way that doesn't work. This simple shift in language can have a profound impact on your mindset. It keeps you patient because you're no longer seeing setbacks as permanent roadblocks. It keeps you focused because you're always looking for the lesson, always looking for ways to improve and move forward. Now let's talk about another important aspect of patience and focus, the role of habits and routines. You see, patience and focus are not just mental states. They're habits. And like all habits, they can be developed and strengthened through consistent practice. That's why routines are so important. When you have a routine, when you have consistent habits, you don't have to rely on willpower or motivation to stay patient and focused. You just do what needs to be done day in and day out. So how do we develop these habits? How do we create routines that support patience and focus? Well, it starts with small steps. Start by setting aside a specific time each day for focused work. It might be just 30 minutes at first, but do it consistently every day. Over time, you'll find that your ability to focus improves, your patience grows, and you can gradually increase the duration of your focused work session. Another powerful habit is regular goal review. Set aside time each week to review your progress towards your long-term goals. This keeps you focused on what's important and helps you stay patient by reminding you of the bigger picture. Remember, patience and focus are skills. They improve with practice. The more you exercise these muscles, the stronger they become. Now, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final thought. Forcing yourself to be patient and stay focused isn't always easy. There will be days when you'll want to give up, when the distractions seem overwhelming, when your goals feel out of reach. But in those moments, remember why you started. Remember your dreams, your aspirations, the person you want to become. Because at the end of the day, that's what patience and focus are all about. They're about becoming the best version of yourself, about achieving things you never thought possible. So I challenge you today, force yourself to be patient. Force yourself to stay focused. It won't be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. Because with patience and focus, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Thank you.